Hello, welcome to the Academic Integrity Summary. Before I get started, just want you to know that this is just kind of a summary. It doesn't look at every single circumstance. It doesn't look at every single situation. This just kind of goes over a lot of the possibilities, and it's a roadmap for the consequences of what's going to happen during an offense. It is by no means a list of every offense possible. Why do we have this academic integrity policy? The purpose is really to provide a quality education, because dishonest activities really undermine student performance. It undermines a student's character. It undermines the actual grading system that everybody operates under, and it really can ruin an academic climate. If several students are cheating and getting away with it, why would other students work hard when they can cheat the same way? It really destroys the culture of a school. So we need to be honest and have integrity in everything we do, not just schoolwork, but just everywhere. So why is it important? If a student doesn't learn, right, and the student just cheats his or her way through things, it can have a negative impact on that student's understanding of the subject. It can have a negative impact on that student when he or she leaves school. This academic integrity sets the tone for the educational environment and the student's life. If we get into the habit of being honest in everything we do, we're off to a great start with life. We have this policy, and it's important so that students can earn credit for material that they've learned and masters. We don't want to give credit for things that you haven't done, right? And we don't want you to violate any state or federal laws. People have been fined outrageous amounts of money. People have lost their careers for academic integrity violations. So where do we need to use academic integrity? Is it just in the classroom when the teacher is teaching in front of the students? No, it's in all aspects of life. It's in a classroom, of course, but it also covers online learning. When the teacher's not there to watch over you, and you're at home doing all the schoolwork on the computer, that's really, in a way, it's more important then. So academic integrity is important everywhere, not just in the classroom. So what is a violation of academic integrity or academic dishonesty? There are several things I'm going to go over just to define these. This by no means is everything, but it's a good summary. Cheating is academic dishonesty. Plagiarism, academic dishonesty. Fabrication, unauthorized collaboration, facilitating academic dishonesty with someone else. And of course, there is a multitude of other things as well. Let's look at each one of these. Cheating. It's basically having a tool that has not been authorized by your teacher. A cheat sheet, notes, book. If you're not allowed to use these things on an assessment, don't use them. Sometimes you are allowed to use those on assessments. Be sure that you know what you're allowed to use and what you are not allowed to use. Using unauthorized tools that does the work for the student. You can't be doing that. For instance, you go to an online essay generator that just spits out your information, or an online generator that gives you things you need. Maybe a certain kind of calculator you're not allowed to use for math class, or a language dictionary you're using for a language class. These are unauthorized tools unless you have permission to use them. Procuring unauthorized help, getting help from someone else, that's a type of cheating if it's not the right kind of help. Submitting the same assignment for multiple assessments without prior approval, you cannot do that. You cannot take an assignment from history class and submit that as a blog on a free write day. No, you can't double up on assignments like this unless you have prior approval. And I have given students approval to use the homework assignment on a blog. There have been special circumstances where this assignment was purposeful and it should have been seen by everybody, so we put it on a blog. But of course, you have to talk to the teachers first. Plagiarism. This is the whole reason we are doing MLA and works cited pages is so that you, the student, do not represent someone else's work as your own. You cannot turn in something and say, this is mine, when it's really someone else's. That's plagiarism. No student shall submit to an instructor an assignment which contains ideas taken from somebody else without full acknowledgement. You have to do citations, let us know who the author is, let us know the source, and that lets us know where this information is coming from, and we know that's someone else's idea, someone else's work. Materials taken. Okay, it's not just an essay borrowed from somebody else. A picture or a graph or a chart also has to be cited, and the source needs to be made known. You can, you know this probably, go to websites and pay for a service that will write your essay for you. Then if you do that, you're submitting a paper that you didn't write, and that's plagiarism. You cannot be doing that. Fabrication. Fabrication is basically the falsification of information. Here you're just writing things in your essay and you're making it up. That's a fabrication. You're falsifying citations. If you're just making up a citation to make it look like you actually looked up this work that you made up, that's wrong. That's cheating. That's a type of fabrication. Taking credit for a group assignment in which the student did not participate. If you're in a group and there's a bunch of go-getters in there and you slack off and let them do all the work, you should not be getting a grade because it's not an assessment of what you have accomplished. Okay, that's a fabrication to have your name on this. Claiming you submitted an assignment when you did not, that's a fabrication. For instance, if you did not turn in your blog at 3:30 and you come and say, well, I turned it in, honest I did, you know, I can look to see when you've logged in and stuff. Don't do this. Okay, that's just a fabrication. Be honest. If you didn't get it in, you did not get it in. What is unauthorized collaboration? That's could be a problem. Basically, it is sharing work without approval. Someone asks you, hey, can I borrow your homework? I didn't get mine done. And you give that person your homework, and that's more than just unauthorized collaboration. That's just letting that person copy and cheat, and they're turning in your work for his or her own. That's not good. Maybe you're working with someone else, and this is supposed to be an individual assignment. That's unauthorized collaboration. Working with another student without approval. Maybe you're helping somebody on a project, but it's supposed to be individual. And then when the teacher grades this, they're grading it based on an individual's work and not a collaborative effort. And then the assessments will be incorrect. We can't have that. Work that is not clearly identified. Who's contributing to this? We need to be sure who's doing what. What is facilitating academic dishonesty? It's basically helping another student violate any of these things in academic integrity. Or it's attempting to help a student violate academic integrity policies. Okay? So just because you're helping someone cheat and you're not cheating, that's facilitating academic dishonesty. We do not want that. So what happens if a violation occurs? What happens if a student commits some sort of academic dishonesty? Okay, the first time, the teacher, I will, sit down and explain to the student, this is what you did wrong. These are my reasons for suspecting you've done this. And I will probably ask you, why did you do this? Maybe it's an accident. Maybe you just wanted a better grade. For whatever reason, you're going to get a 0. The student will receive a 0. Now, the student can request to redo the assignment, right? Or do a different assignment and get some feedback. That way we know what you're doing. The teacher will determine what the consequence is on this first offense. The possible consequences could be several things. The teacher could disallow the student from resubmitting the assignment for credit, and the score will be a 0. The teacher can just say, no, you're getting a 0. The teacher might allow the student to submit the assessment for no credit, but the score will remain a 0. However, the student will receive instructional feedback on the assignment. The teacher might allow the student to resubmit the assignment. for partial credit. Or maybe the teacher will let the student resubmit the assessment for full credit. Okay, so any one of those four scenarios can happen on the first offense. But whatever happens, the student, the principal, student services, and the parents of this child will be notified of the infraction and will be notified of what happens, regardless of the consequences, even if the teacher allows the student to remake everything up or redo the assessment and gives the student full credit for it. It still counts as a first offense in an academic integrity violation. So what happens if it comes up again? All other subsequent offenses will happen regardless of intent. Maybe it was accidental and you accidentally deleted all of your work citations and works cited page. It doesn't matter. If it's your second offense, it's your second offense, whether it's a mistake or not. The student, of course, will be informed of the violation and the reasoning the teacher suspects this violation occurred. The student will receive a 0 for the assignment with no opportunity to resubmit for a higher grade. The student, of course, can request to redo the assignment so that the student can get feedback, so the student knows what he or she has or has not learned. The principal, student services, the parents will be notified of the incident and of all the consequences. What if the student doesn't like this and says, I didn't cheat, I did not commit a violation? What's the student's recourse for this? The student can appeal to the teacher if the student believes that there was no infraction of the academic integrity policy. If that's the case, the teacher will listen, of course, to what the student has to say, and the student can state his or her case. And when the teacher hears this, the teacher will have to determine if a violation occurred or not. Okay? If the teacher decides that no violation occurred, then the student, of course, will be cleared of the violation. It will not count against him or her, and the assignment will be graded as normal. But the teacher still might determine that a violation did occur. If that's the case, the student can appeal then to the principal and to student services. Okay, and then the student and the teacher will present on the case before an administrative decision is made. Okay, so the principal or student services will hear the teacher side and the student side of the situation. And then it'll be up to the principal or student services to determine if academic integrity has been violated. So that's what's going to happen basically in a nutshell. Just be honest. Do your work, right? If you didn't get it done, you didn't get it done. Don't try to cheat the system. We're all in this together, and we all want a valid, proper, good education.